Give Maryland credit. I thought they really played well. Obviously, shot it well, and had good balance across the board, as you can tell. So give them credit for the win, and we'll move forward and get better in practice tomorrow.
When you look at what Maryland shot against you guys, especially from the three-point line, kind of what happened? What was the difference between what the three-point percentage against Iowa and to what happened tonight?
The three-point percentage against Iowa for Maryland. I mean, I don't. You're talking about us offensively or defensively? You know, we were obviously trapping Bruno there. They got some threes off of our trapping. We were trying to keep our guys out of foul trouble, and he did a good job passing out of it. Did a really good job passing out of it, and they made some open threes, and obviously Cowan made some end of clock threes. They shot it really well. They're a good shooting team.
Chris, you talked before the season about there was probably going to be a rough patch at some point in the season. It might have come a little bit later than you were expecting, but what do you tell your team to keep them up, and what do you do now to, you know, get out of this funk that you guys are in?
You know, really, I think we just kind of stay the course, and we'll work extremely hard as coaches and see if there's, you know, what we can do to try to put our guys in better position. But you know, we're really trying to just stay the course.
There was a 6-minute gap where you guys weren't able to score. What was Maryland doing defensively there, and what was the struggles that you guys are having in the second half there?
You know, I think we missed some open shots, and we took some quick ones too. I think it was a combination of both.
Just looking at your three-point trending, I guess, right now, you got some guys who seem to be kind of scuffling right now, and the ball's going in and popping out. I mean, just not falling on a lot of these. Just what is your thought about getting more shots up and just trying to shoot your way out of this? I guess they said a funk. I mean, how do you
shoot more threes? You're saying
what in practice or whatever? How do you shake a team out of this to where those things start falling, and then maybe the wins will follow that?
You know, I think that what you're really trying to judge as much as possible is the quality of our shot. You know, I think that you know, I think we do a lot of shooting in practice, but I think you're really trying to judge overall the quality of our threes. And I do think we took some quick ones, but they were also really collapsed in the paint, and obviously trapping Caleb on every catch. So, you know, we just have some guys that have to work through. I thought we took some that weren't very good, but we also had some that were good that we missed.
Did you feel like they were daring you to shoot a lot of these threes with the way, even, you know, with Luther, a lot of times it seemed like he was just kind of dribbling around with a lot of space without really looking for a shot at all?
Yeah, I don't know. You'd have to ask them. I'll have to look at the film. They might have been. I mean, I think the book's out on how to guard us, so they didn't deviate a whole lot from that in terms of how much they were collapsed on Caleb, and they did a good job of it. And they've got really good length, and you know, not only do they have really good interior length, but they have good perimeter length. But I thought they made it difficult for us to get the ball inside, and then when we did, they did a good job collapsing. Guys had some open looks. We took some quick ones, you know, but I think we got some guys that we're trying to get some confidence to right now too.
Did you get what you were hoping to see offensively from a looks perspective? Obviously, you wish more shots would go in, but you talked about focusing heavily on offense and trying to tweak some things. Did it bear out the way you hoped it would, even if the shots didn't fall?
You know, I think my biggest frustration tonight was our lack of activity defensively, and probably second was I thought we had stretches where we didn't take great shots, but that's off the initial look. But I do think there was also a large segment of the game where I was pleased with the kind of shots we were getting.
And maybe it's an obvious question, but just how hard is it to get through offensive funks or struggles, whatever, when teams seem pretty content to like guard Caleb with 3 or 4 people?
Yeah, it's a good question. Yeah, it's a good question, and I just think that's, we have to, we have to make plays. We have to make plays because I think it's frustrating. I think our guys recognize that, and we're trying to give our guys some freedom so that potentially that could open up things, but we just have not been able to have enough consistency on that end where it's opened up enough. The paint is opened up enough.
You talked about being frustrated with lack of defensive activity. CJ said guys weren't getting into guys enough. Were these things that you were seeing early in the season when you were winning, but talent was just trumping, or is this something that is starting to rear its head more?
Yeah, I think it was a little bit of both. I think there was some, I had mentioned it after a number of games. But you're facing better, longer teams. And I think, we were also concerned about their interior guys, which I think created maybe a little bit of apprehension on the perimeter in terms of how Cowan's quickness and then the interior guys, and we were trying to shrink the floor, and that probably created a lack of activity.
Do you find yourself preaching the same message to guys? I mean, are you when you're talking about not guarding with enough intensity and things, are you saying the same things over and over, and it's just a young team not grasping on some of that?
I think we're trying to hit on some of the same themes and same messages on a consistent basis with our guys. And, I think that we're clearly not there yet with some of the messages we're trying to hit on. I think we were better in some areas tonight. But, again, give Maryland credit.
Was Dwayne at all a bright spot, even though, you don't necessarily like the outcome, but was he a bright spot to see him being aggressive, looking for a shot tonight?
Yeah, I thought he was aggressive, and I thought, there were a couple shots that I didn't love, but he was really aggressive. It was good to see him get to the line a little bit, too. At least got there once. It's one of the things we're really struggling with right now is not getting to the free throw line nearly enough. And we knew that was going to be an issue. We anticipated that, given who we lost, but yeah, that was good to see with Dwayne. His defense, he had some defensive lapses, but I thought he rebounded the ball and scored it.
Coach, you lost a lot of veteran leadership and talent on this team this past offseason. Do you feel like a part of this is that kind of showing itself, or do you feel like this is mostly a product of you're just a funk, or the game plan is just not working right, or, do you feel like that might be a part of it?
Yeah, I mean, I'll let other people kind of decide that and determine that and make those evaluations. My focus is just this group and this team, and obviously we loved last year's group and the leadership and all that, but that's for other people to kind of look at. My concern right now is just how do we get us, playing better moving forward.
You talked about confidence after last game, and you mentioned it again today. And you also said stay the course. So when you're talking about when you're trying to stay the course, but you also need these confidence boosts, but you have a 4th game in a row where you lose, just how difficult is that to keep people on that same mindset that you want them to be on?
Yeah, I think it's a challenge. It's not for the faint of heart or weak-minded people. So I think we've got a tough stretch here. We got to find a way to dig our way out, and we just we've got to all accept responsibility and try to move better and play better.
You put CJ back in the starting lineup, and I know you said you've had some conversations with him. It seemed like he had a pretty good way about him for most of the game. I don't know if you agree with that or not. Just how did you think he played tonight?
I thought he was okay. Yeah, I thought he was okay. I thought he did some really good things. He had 4 steals. I thought he was our most active perimeter player, and I thought he did a good job on Cowan, which I was really pleased to say. I think it was in some ways a real step forward. He probably didn't shoot it as well as he would have liked to, and I'm frustrated with a couple of his turnovers. But I thought he played like, in a lot of ways like we saw him play last year in terms of just his activity on the defensive end.
Kyle took a pretty hard fall there. Did that limit him the rest
Foul
of the game?
trouble primarily.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
foul trouble primarily, and then once he got his fourth, that was. I didn't consider the fall as much, although that did pull him out. But it was more. He got his fourth foul, and just I felt like I was putting him in and out. So that was the main reason.